Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Unsank podcast, the podcast that helps you stay afloat in the rocky waters of life. Today, I'm here with my good friend, Adry the Soul Whisperer, who's here to tell her story of domestic violence and share her journey with us in honor of Domestic Violence Month. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unsank podcast, the podcast that's all about staying afloat in the rocky waters of life. I'm your host, Lex, and I'm here to help you overcome whatever life throws your way. Each episode, we'll be discussing a new topic, from healing trauma to building confidence and rising above the waves, all with the goal of helping you become the badass you were always meant to be. So, if you're ready to take control of your life, then Unsank Pod is the podcast for you. Now, let's dive right in because we have some sailing to do. Adry, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you're willing to share your story with us. This is such an important topic that needs to be shared, especially this month of all months. And thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me a voice to just express my truth and what happened. Thank you.
Absolutely. So can you kind of start by maybe sharing your story with us? Like, how did you meet this person? What did the beginning of the relationship look like? And, even maybe a little bit of background about yourself and how this all came to be.
Okay. Well, my story begins, I want to say, in 2017, 2016, I believe. I was actually didn't even know anything about healing journey or anything of that sort. I was high fed, high intensity type of work where like you're just like on the go 9 to 5 job, I was a nurse recruiter, so I was just always working. And this is the place where I met this person. I actually was training this person to be a nurse recruiter.
Oh,
And then it just somehow it was very interesting because when I met this person, I was just like taken aback because it wasn't usually my typical person that I would date. I am a person that loves men and
yeah.
like a lover man. And it's like, and then this person comes in that is the same sex as I am, but looked androgynous. And it was like interesting and was just flirting and was so like charismatic and just so kind to everyone. And just I was like, I wanna get to know this person, and I want to know more of who this person is. So, we would start sneaking, at lunchtime and here and there. And I remember clearly one time when this person, we went to go get like Frosties and stuff, and the I we ended up, I don't know how, but I ended up like leaving the Frosties somewhere. And then when she went, and I didn't realize, the Frosties fell on the carpet.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. She said so many things to me. Like she said that I was stupid, that I was an idiot, that, how dare that I do that? Like, do you not even think? How do you not think? And just like, I was like, dude, I didn't know that you were gonna go and you just went. But she just yelled at me in a way where I had never been yelled at before.
Yeah.
I hadn't ever experienced that from this person, but she was so soft spoken and just so kind and never cussed. And here it was like a completely like a switch turned off, and it was like
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. And I immediately, my people pleasing thing comes on where I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's not gonna love me anymore. And I, like, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'll wash your carpet for you. Like completely forgetting the fact that she called me an idiot. She called me retarded, like all of these
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
words that I don't want to
Yeah.
mention.
Yeah.
And I
Verbal
just,
abuse, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously verbal abuse,
Verbally
but like
abuse her.
first red
Yeah.
flag where I
Yeah.
could have like walked away, but I was like, no. So I wanted to be with this person, obviously, and I stayed. And after, I feel like that was the moment that after that day, everything switched between like the way we were interacting because I gave her a pass of
Mhm.
allowing her to speak to me that way. And so here she realized that this person's not going to fight back. This
Yeah.
person is insecure and I can do more with this. So after that, she was like, "No, it's okay." Like after that, she didn't apologize or anything,
Mhm.
but she was like, "I'll get it fixed. Don't worry about it. Like it'll be fine, whatever." And so she ended up moving in with me. And yeah, like within that week, I didn't even like tell her to move in. She literally said, "Oh, I'm here all the time. Might as well just," and she just started bringing her things over to my place.
Like,
And
oh
before
my
you know
goodness.
it, she was in my place.
Yeah.
I was, obviously single mom, have my two daughters.
Mhm.
She would come and hang out with my daughters and everyone loved her. All of my daughter's friends loved her. Like she was just like the love of everyone. And so when she asked to move in, I was like, well, this, it feels right. She's really good with my kids. Like this is going to be a good thing. And as soon as she moved in, she put in her rules of how things needed to be done because she was very OCD. And so things needed to be a certain way. Like she literally color coordinated my daughter's clothes. And she was like, this is your, she basically took over what I needed to do. Like, and
Yeah.
I allowed her to take over because I was like in my people pleasing reality.
Yeah.
I just I was like, oh well, I mean, obviously I'm not doing a good job, so I'm gonna let her do. So I would just give her a little bit more
Yeah. Because you wanted
autonomy.
you, yeah, you're worried that they won't love you or, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, I don't want her to think that I don't love her or that, so I'm gonna just let her do this. And
Yeah.
like disciplining my kids, she would discipline them and I would just like, well, this is probably good for them. I never experienced her like physically, abusing them or anything like that, like punishment, corporal punishment or anything like that. But everything was very verbal. And it was like when her and I were seeing each other, I was actually in another relationship. So it was like I was just kind of very confused and I ended up leaving that other relationship because of her. And she found out that I was in that other relationship. And I told her I'm gonna leave that person. I didn't know. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this person. But when she found out, she got so crazy. And it was like I told her she needed to leave my house. And I'm sorry that I'm closing my eyes. It's just like
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't remember everything.
Need to do. Yeah.
I don't remember everything, so I have to like remember, but it's like she found out about, this other person, and that when we were dating that I was dating that other person. And obviously she got really upset about it. And I was like, we broke up, whatever. And she ended up, I told her to leave. And I don't know what happened, but anyway, she came back and she was like knocking on my door and I wouldn't open the door. And I was telling her, you need to go, like we can't date anymore. You're taking this out of proportion.
Yeah.
This person that I was dating actually had another relationship. And so I was like, I didn't need to be with that person. I was not going in a good path. But if she talked about it, this person worked at my job and it would have affected my job. So she was like, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell everyone. And so I just was so nervous and I was just like, no, like you need to go. Like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, this is getting out of hand. Like, I don't want, I just was basically telling her, I don't want to be with you. Like my job, I need my job. Like you can't talk about what happened. I'm telling you right now that this person doesn't matter. You're going to mess up that relationship and
Yeah.
with whoever they're with. And because that person works there, and you're going to mess up, my job relationship. Like you're going to mess up so much because you just don't understand. Like, and she didn't care. But anyway, she ended up breaking my window because I wouldn't let her in my house, and she wanted to like talk to me about it, and I was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And because I didn't open the door, she literally broke my window
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
went inside my house, scared my children. You
Mhm.
know, that was the first one. I should have not after that, but I went ahead and let her back in, right?
Mhm.
And then the next one that she did was like a pride thing where she was like, well, the thing is that she was she was like she was diagnosed bipolar, and sometimes she was like manic. And
Mhm.
I think that day she was very manic. It was like on a pride weekend, actually coming up pride. So it's
Yeah.
always like a big thing for me. Because she basically was doing drugs and not taking her meds and drinking. So
Yeah.
she really, really manic, and she got lost at the parade. She got lost at the pride, and I was looking for her everywhere. And then finally, when I found her, she was so upset. She was like, "Where were you? I was looking for you." I'm like, "Well, I was looking for you too, whatever." And she started like cussing at me in front of everyone. So I'm like, "Let's go, let's get out of here." Like, and so we ended up like starting to go, but then she was just yelling at me in the car, and like she like was trying to punch me and stuff, and like just getting all crazy with me. So I literally was like, I can't do this. I got really scared. So I was driving. I pulled over, and I saw that my friend's house was nearby. So I pulled over, and I ran to the security guard's gate, and I told them, I'm like, can you please let me in? Because I was just like panicked because she was like very angry. Like she was yelling at me, literally like foam coming out of her mouth of like how pissed
Yeah.
was that like I had left her, and I had the car keys and all of this stuff. And so I just got really scared. So I threw her
Yeah.
keys and I ran away. And when she tried to go into that thing where the security guard was in, and she started beating him up,
Mhm.
like because she was really manic. And that's when my friend came. So the guard opened up the gate to let me in. And I remember going in, and my friend was like, "Do you want to come in my house? Like you're safe here." And I was like, "No, my kids are at home. She's gonna go with because my kids were at home. My older daughter was babysitting my younger one and her nephew." And so I was like, "No, I need to go with my kids. Like she's probably gonna go there." So I was the stupidest mistake I could have done because she followed me. And because of that incident, my kids got taken away for a whole year by CPS after that, because instead of her doing all that thing that she caused and me releasing her from my life, I
Mhm.
was like, no, she's bipolar. Like she was going through stuff. Like I need to understand that, and I need to be here for her. Like she was just out of control, and I didn't know how to take care of her. Like just putting it on me. So
Yeah.
then I obviously forgave her because she's bipolar. So I need to forgive her.
Right.
The other thing that I need to mention here is that while all this was happening, when my kids got taken away, a whole other twist came because I was like obviously devastated for the loss of my kids. And, like I didn't know how I was going to get them back. Obviously, I knew, they were like, okay, the court basically was like, okay, I guess she wants to stay with this person. So if they want to stay together, they got to take parenting classes, and they got to do all of these things to prove that they're going to be good enough for these kids. So, yeah, she would do all of the parenting classes with me. She would say that she was taking her medication. We did everything. So it seemed that um that we were capable of getting the kids back because she wanted to get the kids back.
Yeah. She was like trying to make the steps. She was showing that she was trying.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in our relationship, it was just getting worse and worse. And I was like, she would go out, do things, and I was never invited. Um, she after when she moved in, we stopped having relationships, like intimate relationships. She
Yeah.
wouldn't touch me. She would just like ignore me. So I literally started to feel like there's something wrong with me, like I'm the ugliest person in the world because she would just not give me any attention. And then later on, when we were together, when the girls were away from me, I found out that the reason why we ended up together was because she had made a bet when we were working with all of my coworkers, and that she would be able to turn me gay. She's like, I can turn her gay. And and then I got a confirmation from another friend that said, yeah, she did do that bet. And yeah,
That's
we
so
did pay
mean,
for
man. I'm so sorry you went through that. So mean.
because when I found out, I went and I confronted her, like, is this true? And she was like, yeah, it's true. Why do you think I don't touch you?
Oh, that's so mean, dude. I'm
Straight
sorry.
out, straight out. Like, I was like, then why are you with me? And I was like, and she just was like, I don't even remember why she said but it was like more like a motherly thing for her. So the more I got to know her and understand so that I could understand that it had nothing to do with me, because I was like, actually, when she met me, I was like I had just lost all this weight, because I did this like weight challenge. I was like looking my best. I was like the top salesman, like the nurse recruiter, one of the top
Yeah.
nurse recruiters there. Like I was doing so good at work. And I remember her just wanting to do what I was doing. And when all this happened, she ended up losing her job there because obviously I had seniority there. And when she broke my window, I like that was like a thing where a safety issue and we worked together. So she ended up losing her job.
Yeah.
And so that created a lot of resentment. Now that I remember, that's why I let her be in my place because I thought that it was my fault she lost her job, even
Yeah.
though she broke my
Yeah.
window. And so I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna let her live with me because she doesn't have a job anymore. Like all of these things that I'm like, and I'm telling you in different ways because this is how I'm remembering because a lot of the things that it's like I've blocked them, so I'm just like
Yeah.
remembering them in different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had never been in a same-sex relationship, and it was basically this was my introduction to it. So I
Yeah.
thought it's normal to be treated this way by a woman. I thought, oh, maybe she's on her moon or this and that. Like, I need to understand that this is how we are. We're not, you
Yeah.
know, it just works different. No, because then after her, I had another same-sex relationship and it was beautiful. And she was kind and she was just, man, like, nothing to ask for in a man. Like she gave me everything and it
Yeah.
was beautiful. And I thought that it was normal to just not be, it just felt like I was more like with a sister or like
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it was my partner. Um, yeah.
Well, I can totally see that. Like, if you've never been in a relationship with a woman, you don't know what to expect. You're going in it with open eyes, like not really knowing, like, what is this? What's gonna happen? And so, like, why would you, not assume that that's normal or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I think like it's really important to like just like be aware of that like I feel like I had a lot of red flags that I didn't see. I mean, that were right in front of me, but I just chose not to see. But like, bottom line, if you're not feeling good, like in your heart of what is being said to you, or if you're just not feeling good inside, then that's probably not the place where you should be.
Yeah.
And obviously I had no place in putting my kids in that situation, but so we do things out of that. And so now it's like picking up the pieces of all of it. And you know, and it was really sad because she ended up like literally taking over my space of living, and I
Yeah.
had to move out of there even though everything was under my name because she couldn't rent anything because she had really bad credit and couldn't keep a job or anything because of her attitude, because of her bipolar. Like
Yeah.
she had like burned all of the bridges. And then I started to get to know more about her and I got to meet some of her exes. And yeah, all of them, their hearts had been literally broken to shreds and pieces.
Yeah.
And were this person and now are this person of like mentally not in a good place. The other thing that she would do is she would just, I remember one time because I don't know if she felt bad or what, but she literally she introduced me to one of her friends that was like, um, she was like a kind of a little bit like soft porn star type of vibe. And
Yeah.
she had me like, she was like, well, I feel safe with her, so you guys can hook up if you want to, and I don't mind, and it's okay. And I remember when that happened, I thought, well, maybe she's gonna participate. Maybe like this is good. Like I'm gonna like this is what she wants, and maybe this is how
Yeah.
she'll notice me. So I wasn't so much doing it for the friend, but I was doing it for her to see if she would like notice me.
Yeah.
Well, that was the horrible mistaken situation because all I experienced was her being and paying attention to the friend and not
Yeah.
me. And not me.
Yeah.
So it made me feel even worse because it's like, oh, you do all of these things because you want this person to love you. And you do all of these things that are out of character of you and out of like your comfort zone because
Yeah.
you think that's what's gonna bring them back. And it's like if they loved you, you would not be
Yeah,
getting
exactly. If they love
like
you, they
now it's like,
wouldn't. Yeah.
yeah, like now I don't allow that. Like I know that if I'm not treated like a queen, like I don't need to be there.
Exactly.
But you know what? Like I'm just so grateful because she pulled all of that out in me. If it wasn't for her and the way she crushed my ego all the way down into the ground and just into little pieces, I don't think I would be able to be just like say like, no, if you're not gonna treat me like a queen, I don't even want to mess with you, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
there's
Everything happens for a reason. Like, and it sounds kind of dark and like weird to say that, but like also I kind of feel the same way. Like if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't have this podcast and I wouldn't have had the amount of growth that I've had like since experiencing that. And um it's like there's positives in everything and like you can use those things to make a positive and try to grow from it or like look at in positive light rather as like dwelling or like feeling sorry for yourself or just wallowing in the fact that like oh this terrible thing happened to me and I'm just fucked, like I'm just screwed up for the rest of my life. And like for me personally, like I had PTSD and I had all these symptoms and I could have very easily sat in them and been like, well, I'm just fucked. I have PTSD and I'm just fucked now. And a lot of people told me that that's all there is that you're just fucked. You're just gonna that's your new normal. There is no healing. You can never fully heal from this. And it kind of just made me want to heal more because I'm a very you're not going to tell me what to do person. And so like everyone's like you can't heal and I'm like okay, bet, like watch me. I'm going to heal even harder now. Thank you.
yeah.
And so
I think
yeah.
that's
It
probably what happened to me. That's literally what happened to me. Like I'm that type of person that I can't do watch me. Oh,
yeah,
just
no, literally. Like people are like, oh, like domestic violence, like it does all this stuff to your brain, and like if you have PTSD, like there's no coming back from that. I'm like, nah. Like, yeah, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm like left in 2021. It's 2020. 4, so I'm 3 years, almost 4 years out. And I still fucking
That's in
I
2021.
still have issues. I still see symptoms and have issues and things that I deal with, and but it's gotten a lot better and I know how to manage it and I'm able to look at it kind of more objectively. And so, what has your healing journey looked like since getting out of the relationship? Do you have any tips or tricks to share with people about like what you've done to heal, what works for you, and maybe what others can do to heal as well?
Yes. Well, my healing journey began the same week I lost my children. When that happened, I literally hit rock bottom, and I was, doing all the weed, doing all the drinking, to try to, cope with that. And then I was like, well, how am I going to get my kids back? I cannot get my kids back like this, right? So
Yeah,
I checked myself into a place because I went down low to where I thought that I might hurt myself. So that was the first thing that I did was recognizing where I was and that
yeah,
I needed help.
yeah,
Um, and so I went and I was there for a day. They were very kind. It was not like a mental hospital or anything, but it was like a place where like a transition type of place, and
yeah,
they have that here in the desert. They offer they have rooms and whatever, and they also have therapists. And so
nice.
I was linked with a therapist. I started the therapy right away
Mhm.
because it's like you need to find a way to release all of this energy and all of this anger, whatever it is that you're going through. You have to have someone to talk to.
Yeah, or
The other thing,
100%, yeah,
yeah, the other thing that I did was I just picked up meditation, and I thought that I would never be able to meditate, but it was like there was so much going on that I had no other choice but to go inside, because if
yeah,
you
uh-huh,
truly want to heal,
yeah,
it's like I had to leave the weed, leave all those things. And I'm not saying, everyone has their own journey. For me, it was an easy, like I just decided. And so I left it. And then I chose to start meditating. So I would just do like 10 minutes a day. I would
yeah,
pick a time that I said this time works for me. I would set a timer and I would just sit and be with myself for 10 minutes, and no judgment of anything that happened, because meditation is basically you observing your mind, your thoughts, your reactions, whatever is coming through, without having any reaction, without allowing any, and as you do that, you become able to do it for longer periods of time, because like any part of your body, your brain is also a muscle. So the more that you start working with that muscle, the more it's going to become flexible and open
right,
to
yeah,
practices. And so like now I can sit down for 3 hours and meditate, like, and it's like I love it. But I didn't at one point. The other thing that I had to do, I picked up running. Like I just had to just move. I just had to
yeah,
do things to release all of what was happening. And because I had extra time because I got my kids taken away, it's like I instead of feeling sorry for myself, I started to believe and say that God was giving me a chance to stop, pause, and take care of myself so that I could be a better mother for them. So
yeah,
like, it was like also this shift in perspective of like, oh my gosh, my kids got taken away, like trying to be, like
mhm,
I had to switch my perspective of not being a victim and
yeah,
having this be a blessing and making this a blessing. I found everything was by intuition. So I met with this lady because I was like really into wanting to do YouTube videos and and all these things. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so like I met this lady that wanted me to do YouTube videos with her in Spanish and for laughter yoga.
Oh, I love
And
the idea of that.
yeah, and I
Laughter
was like,
yoga,
what
that
is
sounds
laughter
fun.
yoga? I'm like, what is laughter yoga? I don't know what that is, but I want to do videos, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do it. She was like, all right, well, this is what you have to do. We were like in the courtyard, and she was like, you just have to just laugh and just like breathe and just laugh and just, I'm like, right here in front of everyone. And she's like, yeah. And so I just started laughing, and she was like, oh, you're gonna be a natural. But what happened is that as I started laughing, it's like this, oh, this relief, this like
Yeah.
pressure, like just kind of just of like allowing myself to laugh because I had not laughed in so long
Yeah.
because I was in so much pain
Yeah.
for so many years that I had, you usually find funny things to make you laugh. Well, I didn't want anything funny because what was happening to me was not funny.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
No,
laugh.
no,
Like,
that's true.
yeah, it's not
Like,
fucking
not
funny.
funny, you know? So it was like, okay, but this lady's telling me to do this and I want to do YouTube videos, so I'm gonna do it. But when I did it, it was this like magic that happened, and I was like fired inside. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna do this again. Let's do some more. And so she ended up certifying me as a laughter yoga instructor. So I mean, I can facilitate laughter yoga now, but what this did is was it tapped into a meditation on another level because I was tapping into my inner child. So what this practice brought to me was like a newfound type of energy, which when I was little, that was my vibration. My vibration has always been joy, but like
Yeah.
always kind of like shut down of like, oh, you're too happy, you're too this, you're too that, you're too loud, you're too
Yeah.
expressive. And so
Yeah.
it's like you start like dimming down, dimming down, dimming down. And
Yeah.
what this lady was telling me was like, no, Adriana, you're here to tell people to laugh and to be themselves and to express themselves. So this practice really allowed me to feel comfortable in my own skin, to laugh in the uncomfortable, because it's in the uncomfortable where we grow. So while I was facilitating laughter yoga and doing all of these things, I was also going through my domestic violence, court hearings, like all of these things, because, at some point, the victim can fight back and be like, I have had enough.
Yeah.
So when pandemic hit, I was like, oh my gosh, I do not want to get stuck with this person. Like, I
Yeah.
need to talk to her and I need to tell her that we need to do something about this, that I changed my mind. This is my house because it was under my name, even though she had been paying rent, all of this. I'm like, I don't know, I'll figure it out how I pay rent, but she needs to
Yeah.
move. And
Yeah.
so I went and I approached her and was like, she was not having it. And we ended up getting in a very heavy arguments where she, put me in headlocks and do all this stuff. And I fought back. I defended myself. Ended up, cops got called. I ended up going to jail for 40 days. And for 4 days, I was in there. And I was like, the first 2 days, I was in resistance of why I was there and that I didn't belong there because I was playing this victim game. And by the third day, literally, I heard God speak to me and was like, Adriana, you are being realigned. You were not in the where you needed to be and you didn't understand. So this is us telling you that you need to go a different way.
Yeah.
And I was like crying. I was like, yes, you're right. Thank you, because this is giving me time to just like be with my mind. And so I literally was just meditating that whole time because it was scary being in there. I'm not a person that would usually be in jail. I literally would get jumped in high school by all these like cholas and hardcore, that was
Yeah.
but it was when what saved me in there was that I told them that I did yoga. And they were like, oh, we got a yoga instructor up in here. We're going to get yoga every day, man. And they were waking me up and
I
having
love
me
that.
do yoga.
Yoga
They're
is
like,
what
"This is
saved you.
yoga."
That's amazing.
So
Love
I
that.
made the best of my time in there. I got out and I was like, I need to prove my innocence now because now this is going to be in my record. And so I went through this whole case while doing laughter yoga and
Yeah.
feeling uncomfortable. So literally I would sit in the court and my lawyer was like, we got this, Adriana. You don't have to say anything. You didn't do anything wrong, but they're going to intimidate you and they're going to tell you things and they're going to say that you were the abuser and this and that. And you just need to sit there and just know that you got this because it's all energy, seriously. And so I ended up, the case was dismissed. Everything was
Good
cleared,
job. Good job.
and it was I say I think it to laughter yoga because it's like I would go into my car and just start laughing and you literally just like take some deep breaths and to clear your energy,
Mhm.
and then you just and it just helps you release the anxiety, whatever it is that you're feeling, and it does this thing where it calms your nervous system because what you're doing is you're releasing endorphins, you're releasing serotonin, with this all this beautiful
Yeah.
chemicals that your brain needs in order to function.
Mhm.
And when you're in PTSD mode, because that's what happens with all of this, like the trauma lives within our body.
Yeah.
What the laughter yoga does, and the laughter and the vibration and the different mantras that I have you do, is that you release all of that from your system. And it's just so powerful. It's a quantum tool. It works instantly.
Mhm.
You literally a minute of laughter and you shift your vibration. And so I started laughing in front of the mirror in the mornings. And
Nice.
then I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I got invited to a yoga class and I had never done yoga before
Mhm.
because I thought I was inflexible. I was almost 200 pounds, mind you, when I was with this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And because, I just didn't feel worthy or anything and I
Yeah.
just gave up on myself.
Yeah.
Um, and yoga, I say yoga saved my life because yoga is not just a workout. It was more of like a coming within myself and having this like inner dialogue as you're flowing on the mat, and just it was just always so heart opening and so many like aha moments that I would get while I was on the mat that I fell in love with it and decided to become a yoga instructor. And so now I do that too because these things have healed me, and it's like, why not? Also crystals. I'm holding a black obsidian cat right now. It's like this is such a powerful crystal for protection and for grounding of like me speaking my truth and just grounding, and like these are tools. So I went ahead and took a course on this and I became certified as a crystal healer. It's like I decided to use what was happening to me and empower myself and bring tools to the table to where I can harness my own energy and just heal myself through this, but not just myself, but now it's like I can offer this to other women,
Yeah.
you know. And so even like the jewelry that I make, because my PTSD was going wild, right? So it's like, what do I do? I started beading. I started doing bracelets, and I started wire wrapping, because it was very soothing for me. So now I sell jewelry and it's adrythesoulwhisperer.com. I just threw that in there. It's like, and everything that I do is to create because we came to this planet to create. And there will be situations and time in our lives where there will be darkness to try to prevent us from bringing our light. Our light that we're here is so unique and powerful, and it's here to transform the planet.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think that you're not all that in a bag of chips, you are.
Yeah.
And it's what I'm realizing. Um, I also facilitate somatic dance, which is another great way to
Nice.
heal your
Yeah, I love
trauma.
dramatic dance. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I found that too. That was another thing that I found out was so soothing for my nervous system. So now I teach it. I don't say I teach it because there's no way to teach it. It's like you're literally listening to your body, and your body's telling you where the medicine is and how to release that and how to release certain things from your body. Because again, that's where we hold the trauma. And it's like we can't just sit down. Sometimes you think that meditation is sitting down. No, you can be dancing, you can be laughing, you can be swimming, you can be whatever. Everything is a meditation.
Yeah.
So the other thing that helped me too was having a spiritual community. So after meeting that lady that did the laughter yoga, she took me to this place called Center for Spiritual Living Palm Springs.
Mhm.
And I found all kinds of people that were doing exactly the same thing I was doing. They were meditating, they were doing mantras, I found this out in YouTube, by the way. Like I didn't go or have anything. I just on YouTube
Yeah.
Googled meditation for anxiety and I would sit down and do it. But
Yeah.
I found an actual place. But see, it's like your energy attracts these things. So it's like
Yeah.
they were in my field because I wasn't aware, I wasn't doing the practices. But when I started doing the practices, I attracted all of these people, all of these situations. Um, and and so here I am today, where now I want to host this in a way where I can empower other women to come and just feel like the goddess selves that they are and just, give back to themselves and call their power back. So, it was like I just felt called that I needed to create something.
Oh,
Um, and so that's what I'm doing now with my retreat called Divine Flow.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah.
And where is Divine Flow? Like where you host your festivals?
So Divine Flow is this it's hosted here in the desert. The first one was done at Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs. And then it kind of just travels to wherever it wants to go. Then it went over here to La Quinta in a beautiful garden. This in spring we had it again. And it's just basically me coming in with my laughter yoga,
Mhm.
and allowing women to express their inner child and to just like let themselves be kids and just laugh and just, just forget about the cares of the world and just be with themselves and nurture themselves. And so it's like we do laughter yoga, we do sound baths, we'll do somatic dancing. We also have like a clothes swap so you can release, whatever energy, or maybe there's clothes that remind you of certain people, but they're beautiful and you don't know what to do with it. We'll take it and give it to a sister, and we can all help each other. And that's the other thing about my community is that we help each other, we dress each other, we'll like, oh, this looks good on you, this is your color. Like,
Yeah.
my beautiful sister Sarah, she was like doing color analysis on
Yeah, me
goddess.
and Zara do that all the time.
Yeah, yeah, just making them
Like
more
going
beautiful.
over my color analysis.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like about coming together as women and just empowering each other and just, and at the end of it, after we dress ourselves and, pick outfits and stuff, we have photographers, professional photographers come. And
Yeah.
I call photographers, they're also healers. I call them healers because what they do is they see beauty.
Mhm.
They see beauty and they just like capture it. And so that's what they do with you. And so it's like when you see yourself in this picture, and then you're reminded of how powerful you are. We just kind of put this in a picture and take this energy with you. And that whenever you're feeling some sort of way, you look at this picture and you remember who the fuck you are. And that
Yeah.
you're not going to allow anyone to tell you that you're otherwise because you know who you are.
Yeah.
And so that is when divine flow happens, when we allow ourselves to just soften, open up our hearts, and just trust that the universe has our back, and that we are worthy of everything. And that's what divine flow really does. And my symbol is a little turtle because on my first one, it's very magical. Spirit guides it and knows who wants to be there and who doesn't. And if someone's not meant to be there, it'll literally stop and it will not go. So I literally ended up twisting my ankle on the photo shoot day. There was a little turtle there.
Oh.
There was a little turtle that never left our photo shoot.
Oh.
You'll see the pictures. I'm there, and there's a little turtle there
Will you
that
send
was
me a
literally.
picture of the little turtle? I want to see.
Yeah, I have it on my Instagram, but yeah, I'll send it to you too. It's
I'll put
beautiful. Yeah.
I'll put a picture of the turtle. Shout out
Yeah, yeah.
to the turtle.
Because it was like spirit telling me, turtle, like turtle says easy, a slow and steady
Yeah.
wins the race. And so
Yeah.
it's like that's how life is. We are always trying to go fast, fast, fast,
Yeah.
fast, fast. And so we miss the magic moments that happen when we're going in this fast-paced thing. And so
Yeah.
what the divine flow is telling us is to come back and nurture our inner child so that we can really, when we get out, we can really with power bring this out, you
Yeah.
know. And so yeah, so laughter yoga helps you do that because you're motivated. You know, you know, if you can be silly with yourself, then you can be silly anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it gives you more confidence. And so by the time you get to the photo shoot, you're like, I can do anything because you already went through all this
So
energy.
seriously.
So it's a really powerful retreat. And then the thing that I like the most about it is that we give 10% back of our whatever we make to an association here called Shelter for the Storm that helped me, Shelter from the Storm that helped me when I needed help. And
Nice.
so now it's like me giving back to them. So yeah, it's really beautiful. Oh yeah, the first one we helped out Mama's House, which was a house for teenage pregnant women. And so that was really cool too. So it's like I really want to give back to women with this retreat. So that's one of my main things. But yeah,
Um,
that's how I've been healing, you know, just doing things.
yeah, no, that's all so amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
What you're doing is so important and so amazing, and I love it so much. And I want to come DJ one of your retreats. You got
Yes,
more DJ the
I would
retreat.
love it.
It'd be
Yes.
so fun. It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything you'd like to share before we wrap it up? Where can people find you on social media? Where can people get in touch with you? Where can people buy tickets and get involved with the events that you're doing? And how can we get more Adry?
Yes. Okay. Well, for me, you can find me on Adry _the _soul whisperer. Um, and I also have a link on there. So in my bio, you can have a link there. My website will be there. It's adrythesoulwhisperer.com. You'll see my whole things that I do. I do laughter yoga, some, you know, in the retreat. I'm still updating some things, but you can definitely go in there and there's a place where you can write me an email, whatever you're looking for. I can surely assist you with that. Another thing that I've picked up doing is I do healings with my light language. So I've activated that within me so I can help you and bring in codes and stuff like that for your nervous system, for whatever it is. It's a little bit like sound healing, but I do it more in a way with my voice. And all of these things have allowed me to open up. So what I want to say is that don't ever allow anyone to tell you who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And don't ever think that you've made a mistake, because you never make a mistake. We're always shifting, and there's going to be times when we, you know, fall and things happen, but it's like it's in the realizing when you fall where it is that you stumbled, where the little pebble was, that you
Yeah.
can pick yourself back up and you never go back that route again, because you know that that is going to take you in a place where you might fall. So
Yeah.
it's like our experiences make us even stronger.
Yeah.
So it's like so important to honor everything and just literally put flowers in those women, in who they were. Like give them flowers and give them love and give them compassion,
Yeah.
because all of those different women's that are an aspect of you make you who you are. And it's all very beautiful and very powerful, and they all should be loved. So it's like I love my Adry that kept on taking that lady back. I love her to death because she was a kind soul and she always did everything for love. She
Yeah.
never did anything. Everything was selfless. So you can't go wrong when you're going with your heart.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah. So thank you so much for giving me this space to just
Yeah, of
and
course. Thank you
say
so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. You're so amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. Sending you lots of love.
sending you so much love.
Yeah,
Thank
I love
you.
you so much. Oh my
Love
God.
you. I can't wait for you to DJ at Divine
Yes.
Flow.
I'm gonna come out there. I'm gonna visit you in Zara. Don't worry.
Yay.
Yeah. I
Thank
love
you.
you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Stay unsync, everyone. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this amazing episode of Unsank Pod. I hope that you found inspiration, healing, and the courage to rise above the waves of life. To stay connected and receive updates on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at unsank.co and unsank.pod. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at unsank_co. For additional resources and information, visit our website at unsankco.com. You can also find our episodes on popular podcast platforms such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and many more. Before we part ways, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of you who have shared your time with us. Your openness and willingness to explore the path to healing have made this podcast truly special. Keep healing, keep growing, and keep spreading the light to those around you. Take care, and remember to stay unsafe.